Hello and welcome back to my program's dev stream of RP-1, where I'm pretty busy. As you can see, it's a little bit different than it was. We've started to take our first stab at leaders, which is why I was offline yesterday. So you can see Von Braun has plus 5% confidence from contracts, minus 5% confidence from science. Those are the two ways you can get confidence. Plus 5% reputation from contracts, which I definitely need, but minus 5% time for integration, rollout, air launch. So plus 5%. So everything will take 5% longer. All vessels will take 5% longer. So that's a really hefty penalty. Due to earlier bugs, I have a ton of confidence, so don't need that. But the rep would be nice. So let's have it run. As it says, this leader cannot be reappointed to any position once dismissed. Because it says any position, you might see a person in multiple columns here. They could, for example, might be both an administrator and chief designer. So let's try appointing him. Yes, let's appoint him. There he is. Here are the effects. He can be removed on 13th January 1959, and he retires on 13th December 1968 if he's not removed first. Now let's warp a little bit. And let's look. Go to the Leaders tab. Select him. So he can be removed. It will cost 161 rep. Because we'd only just hired him. So we'll remove him. Goes away and cannot be reappointed. So instead we could get Vladimir Barman, who's great for building launch complexes. Okay, so I'm going to reload my save to have not lost the opportunity to hire someone. I probably should appoint a leader just to try it out, but I'm scared of that whole no hire thing, no reappoint thing, so we'll see. Okay. Behind the scenes, some other stuff that's changed of note is I rewrote all of KCT's formulas to run through native code instead of its text parsing, which should be a pretty big speed boost. And also is not an unmaintainable mess. There's also, as part of that effort and the leader effort, like as you saw from those things, like most things are hooked up through currency modifier queries. So you could do things like a leader that changes the total cost of construction of things, research rate, build rate, all sorts of things. I still have idle staff. Yeah, it's like vaguely tempting to hire Sergei Korolev because with the bulk of my expenses being from staff, as a 5% of that, but it also costs 5% program funding, so I think it just nets poorly. Okay. That's another 2 months. I'm skeptical of the fact that all these are 1x multiplier, but I think that's just because I happen to be on track. So that third leader, as I mentioned, I think just beforehand, is great for building launch complexes. Launch complexes are 5% cheaper to construct and also lower maintenance, and finish 10% faster. Korolev is 10% rep gains, but minus 5% funds salaries, but also minus 5% funding for programs, which is, I just changed that to minus 10% salary, but minus 5% funds from programs. Yeah, so all these are the basic stuff to implement. The harder stuff are things like changing engine reliability or have things like even changing your air launch limits, discounts to various kinds of ECMs. That's some of the more interesting effects. But these are just basic number crunching. Yeah, I really need to make this window taller. Yeah, so let's see. The other thing that I literally just thought of doing was jeepers. How did I forget what I was just thinking about? Oh, now I remember it. Okay. Let's wait to reconditioning. And then okay, so it's still 2 days before we're done training. This is approaching December 24th, 1959. So we're a year out, another couple months. And we will be able to start training everybody for Mercury. Oh God. I'm running in debug. That's why it's so slow. Oh well. I was wondering why I was chugging, and it's because I'm running in debug mode, so it's logging like mad. Yeah, we're still capped on R&D, but I can't afford to do anything yet. That's going to take a very long time. That's a year and a half. 500 days. A little less than a year and a half. Okay. And the other thing that I'm super happy about is that, as you can see, wait, why? Why is that not blocking? I think because something else is, oh, I think probably because something else is spawning the pop-up, maybe. Yep. Wrong place. Okay. That's why. There we are. Oh, I don't need... Yeah. That dialogue is not going to pop up in the astronaut complex, so I don't actually need those actions. Okay. Okay. Sorry, as I was starting to say before that dialogue proved me wrong, one thing that I'm very happy about finally doing, I think I may have talked about this a couple days ago, is when you hire someone, which I'm not going to do because I don't actually want any more astronauts right now, you get a pop-up saying the retirement. Finally, I've written code that it actually blocks out your being able to do anything else during that period of time. So you'll no longer be able to hover and hire more or fire more people. Took forever. The other thing that I'm very happy with is that in the not budgets branch, thanks to the magic of Harmony, I have reached into editor extensions and fixed the fact that it loses the keybinds. Apparently the reason that it loses the keybinds is because it literally nukes the keybinds. It's instead of trying to poke at the editor and make it not do things when the keys are pressed, it just removes the keybinds, so it doesn't perform the stock action, it only performs the regular action. The problem is it tries to do a thing where on resetting keys it sets those keys in settings, saves settings, and then nukes them. Problem is, if settings are ever saved again afterwards before you quit KSP, then of course the nuked settings are what's saved to disk, and then you've lost your keys. This, as you might imagine, is not a great approach. So I went in with Harmony and fixed it that way. So if you're on nut budgets, you should, once you reset keys once, you should never have that happen again. Squirrel, I fixed it through Harmony. To fix it without Harmony takes rather more effort. Like, it's doable. It's very doable. I had a little bit of a peak today, but I certainly don't have time to do it. Yeah, basically you need to subscribe to the editor events, know whether you yourself were the reason they happened, and if you weren't, then undo whatever they just did. My Harmony fix is just before you're going to save settings, put the right settings in, and then save them, and then put them back. So it's guaranteed to always work. We are very high up. Let's dive. Yeah, Harmony is some pretty amazing programming. Up and away. Yeah, Harmony has. There's transpilers make my head a little bit sore, but everything else is quite simple to do. And prefixes that stomp on the execution, if you're like RP-1 and you can basically guarantee that nobody else is going to be doing it, is how I can rewrite large chunks of KSP code if I need to. All right, we're going to get at least a little bit of shores. Maybe. We're moving pretty fast. There we are. Now we're getting some space above the shores. Yeah, without Harmony, there's basically no way I could have been doing what I was doing without, well, some of it I just couldn't have done, and some of it would have taken an awful lot more work. Well, that was a short bit of shores. Down we come. All right, I'm going to try re-entering with a bit more deflection. We'll see how that works. Yeah, more deflection is good. Yeah, that was nice. That was not a problem at all. I think I usually end up pulling out a little bit lower than that. I don't actually have data. You're the guy with data. Speaking of which, you're probably going to have to, you're going to have to rework a lot of the spyware stuff for registering transaction reasons, because I had to steal some existing stock ones that aren't used, because turns out we need a long for the enum, and stock has an int, which means can't actually convert. So I had to squeeze all of the fund-related stuff, or basically everything but time, down into the integer portion of the enum. And then above 32 bits is the new stuff, is the time-related stuff. So yeah, I had to like grab progression and I think like contract deadline or something, or decline, or I forget what. Bunch of different things. If you look in currency modifier query RP0, that has the renumberings. I guess since I rebase so infrequently, I should just tag you on commits. I mean, this is why I tag people, because I'm used to a work environment where everybody is working at that pace. So the only way you see stuff is, well, unless you're, I know some people who actually do try to read through everything. That's really impressive. Mostly we just operate off tags. I mean, I guess you could react to the commit with a ping pong emoji. But yeah, basically over the last couple of days, I, thanks to Harmony, managed to entirely rewrite Stock's currency modifier query and strategy config to do what we need them to do. To basically call our, because they have static methods that return constructed things, was able to patch those to return our objects. The problem is apparently with Harmony, you can't patch constructors. Well, I mean, like you can patch constructors, but you can't patch constructors to return objects of different types. So it's relying on those static methods. Now, thankfully, they are generally done through static methods, although I can use prefix patching if I have to. Oh, that reminds me, I got to release the new contract configurator, because there were a couple places there where it was not relying on the static method for currency modifier queries. Also, yeah, you're probably going to want to have something in spyware to record what leaders are active, aka what strategies are active. Okay, almost home. So the thing about that, Squirrel, is I need to make some changes to how the API works, and also I'm not sure exactly how much of rebase hell I'll be in if I merge it against master, given just how much has changed. Like, getting your previous thing to work and then rebasing it was already a bit of a hassle, so I can try to have a look at some point. There. That is about as gentle a landing as I've ever done. Okay. Dang it. I wish the UI control lock was actually respected by KSP Zone UI. Okay, so hypersonic science is complete. Okay, I think that's it for us. Look at astronauts. They're all about the same. We just spot check that this all looks correct. Why is that? That shouldn't be positive. Let's see, total. Yeah, missing. Okay, there was just a little bit missing there. This one looks correct. Also probably need to make that a scroll area as we get more launch complexes. I'm not actually sure. Maybe it'll just extend the UI down. Astronauts, all that looks pretty sane. Okay, that's all good. CMAF, what do you mean about... What can't be positive? I mean, this is just that the grand total sign was flipped. I don't know what other positive thing you're talking about. Ah, okay. Yeah, all the rest of the GUI seems good, which is good because I refactored it twice over the last couple days, so yeah. Okay. That all is looking fine. Though, man, really need to get the heck away from all this immediate mode GUI layout stuff. It's just, it's an absolute pain to do layout with. Also, the performance sucks. The KCT GUI in particular, the build list is doing an incredible amount of stuff. Anyway, that's going to be it for me for tonight, because boy is it late. So thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoy the latest developments, and I'll catch you next time. Bye.